I want to make one thing clear before I continue. I'm not confused. I'm not exaggerating. And I'm not telling this because I want someone to feel sorry for me. I'm telling it because something has started using my life when I'm not aware. Not controlling me, not replacing me, just continuing where I stop. At first, it didn't feel like anything was wrong. There were moments that felt slightly out of focus, like when you walk into a room and forget why you're there. Annoying, but normal. I would sit down at my desk in the morning and notice my laptop was already open. Emails drafted, files arranged, work done. Nothing looked incorrect. Nothing looked rushed. Everything looked finished. I told myself I must have done it earlier and forgotten. That happens sometimes. People talk about it all the time. Autopilot, muscle memory, routine. But then I started noticing timestamps. Messages sent during hours I was asleep. Documents edited while my phone was charging on the nightstand. Calendar entries created at times I couldn't account for. I checked my security logs, my email access history, my cloud activity. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. It was me. Same passwords, same devices, same writing style, even the same small habits I have when I type. Extra spaces, short sentences, the same phrasing I always use when I don't want to sound too direct. There was no sign of intrusion, no unfamiliar IP addresses, no alerts, just activity I didn't remember performing. I didn't panic. That's important. I didn't feel fear at first. I felt irritation, like when you misplace something and blame yourself for being careless. I started paying closer attention to my days. I wrote things down. I kept notes. I tracked my time. And the more I paid attention, the more gaps I noticed. Moments where I would look at the clock and realize time had passed differently than it should have. Conversations I vaguely remembered starting, but not finishing. Tasks completed without the feeling of having done them. It felt like my days were being edited. Cleanly, professionally. Nothing messy, nothing obvious. If someone had tried to scare me, I would have noticed. If something wanted to be seen, it wouldn't have been this subtle. The first thing that truly unsettled me happened on a Tuesday. I know that because I checked. I woke up to a voicemail notification, one missed message. The number was mine. At first, I assumed it was some kind of glitch. Phones do strange things sometimes. I played it while brushing my teeth, not really paying attention. Then I heard my own voice say my name. I froze. The voice sounded calm, casual, almost amused. It said, "You don't remember this part." That was it. No background noise, no breathing, just silence after. I stood there for a long time, staring at my reflection in the mirror, trying to recognize myself in it. My expression looked normal, alert, present, but something about it felt slightly delayed, like my face was reacting a moment after I felt the emotion. I checked the timestamp. The voicemail had been recorded 3 hours earlier, 3 hours when I was asleep. I didn't go to work that morning. I sat in my living room listening to the quiet. The kind of quiet you only notice when you're waiting for something to interrupt it. Every sound felt intentional. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant traffic, my own breathing. I wondered if it always sounded that measured, that controlled. When my neighbor stopped me outside later that day, I almost didn't recognize him. Not because he looked different, but because he looked familiar in a way that felt misplaced. He smiled and thanked me for the conversation we had the night before. I told him he must be mistaken. He looked confused. He said we talked for almost 20 minutes, about work, about getting older, about how strange routines become over time. He said I seemed relaxed, engaged, completely normal. I had no memory of it, not even a fragment. I went back inside and locked the door. For the first time, I didn't feel alone in my house. I felt duplicated, like my presence was no longer exclusive. That night, I stayed awake. I watched the dark corners of my room, not expecting something to appear. expecting something to continue. Because whatever was doing this didn't feel hostile. It didn't rush. It didn't leave mistakes behind. It felt patient. And that was the most unsettling part.